I get it, I said. You were afraid you had gotten yourself into something dangerous, something you wouldn't be able to escape. You did everything you could to cover your tracks, but he still might discover you. She said, and I wouldn't know if he had even seen or remembered the note. He might have written 100 notes like that one, but remembered to remove all the others from the books. I wouldn't know if he was suspicious of me. I barely knew him. If he really was involved in some conspiracy, then he was probably pretty good at keeping secrets. Maybe I wouldn't be able to read him. Maybe he would just string me along until... She didn't want to finish her sentence, and I didn't want to finish it for her, reliving the whole experience of getting to her, but she wanted to tell me the rest of the story. I started paying really close attention to his facial expressions when he looked at me in class. I even followed him at a distance a few times on campus just to, I don't know, see if I could pick up anything. I never could tell. Maybe he just kept reading my transcriptions, doing whatever he did with them, and never suspecting anything. I didn't know. She said she considered dropping the class and quitting the job, but that might be too obvious. And besides, she needed the class to graduate. She stuck it out and kept grinding away as if nothing had happened. Something had happened, though, and she couldn't get it out of her mind. What else might she find in those books? Days passed and nothing else turned up. Then one day, Professor stopped her after class. He told her that he appreciated the work she had been doing, and she thanked him for the compliment. She started to say that it was interesting work, but she didn't want to give him anything he might interpret. She concentrated on staying calm. I remember putting myself in the frame of mind that, I had never seen the note. I was just a senior working as a research assistant, grinding out the work. I focused on looking and talking that way so that he wouldn't suspect anything different. He started to walk out of the classroom but continued talking to me. He smiled and said, "I've been spot checking your work. At the end of every week, I visit the Carl and compare a few of your transcriptions with the originals. You don't make many mistakes, even in punctuation. It's really good work." When she told me this part, she paused for a second. She had been staring out the window as she related this part. Now she was looking at me. She said, "Of course he had to check my work, but it hadn't occurred to me. I tried to stay in my frame of mind and act like a typical research assistant doing typical work, but inside, I kept thinking about that note. Was the book with that note in it one that he checked? Had he turned to one of the tabs and come across the note? I tried to remember if the book tended to open there. It seems like a weird thing to think about, but it made all the difference in the world. Maybe I should have removed the note. But then what if he remembered it was there and went back and couldn't find it? He would think I had taken it. And he would know I knew it was there. He had assigned the gold bug. He could assume I recognized the symbols in it. As we walked down the hall, he kept talking. He said, "I haven't met many students as detail-oriented as you. I guess I chose well when I decided to invite you to work with me." I was ready for this walk and conversation to end. "There's one thing, though," he said, stopping in the middle of the hallway. "I'd like to discuss it with you tomorrow during your shift. I'll meet you in the office in the library."